Yes, this is Africa 24, your daily political show, and it's happening here in your favorite channel, wherever you're following this conversation. I welcome you so that you can go all through, so that we can discuss some of the major headlines that happen in the country, Kenya, and also in the whole world. You know, Africa 24, we unlock stories. We make sure that we make you have those stories that really happen in this country. And of course, we are asking, where is Maverick Aoko? Maverick Aoko is one of the bloggers in this country who has been publishing stories using the social media. And still, she has been missing for a while. She is not there. She has been missing for a while, almost 7 days. And we're asking, where is Maverick Aoko? I'm Boniface Kimanzi here, and we are going all through as we discuss some of the things in this country. And our headline today is the political tension we have in this country. We don't have the deputy president after the impeachment motion of Gachagua. We have now a nominated DP. Still, Gachagua lawyers are still fighting to see whether they can win this case in the parliament, that is in the court. And the question that they're asking, when is judiciary going to be independent? When is judiciary going to serve Kenyans without being interfered? That is the question that the lawyers of Gachagua are asking. So wherever you're following this conversation, I welcome you. And as we go on, you can join us. If you're following us in Facebook, you can go in your YouTube channel there, like, comment, and subscribe to Africa 24. That is where you will be getting those news all the way, and you will be entertained. Don't forget, in Africa 24, we unlock stories from all over the world. And of course, we give you the best news headlines. For the matters concerning football, of course, you know, the fourth round of Carabao happened. Manchester City was thrashed by Tottenham Hotspurs 2-1. Chelsea has been eliminated already by Newcastle United after Newcastle won 2-0 at St. James Park. And also, Manchester United, they have clompered. I think that is the word that I'm going to use there. Manchester United have clompered a very small team there, Leicester City. Leicester City has been clobbered by Manchester United 5-2 at Old Trafford. Van Nistelrooy is the interim manager for Manchester United, and he has kicked off his coach as interim manager, and he has won that game against Leicester City. All those we are going to discuss here in Africa 24, and we are asking, where is Maverick Aoko? Where is Maverick Aoko? That is the question that we are asking here in Africa 24, as we're going to discuss some of the headlines here. Where is Maverick?
Maverick, a bold and outspoken activist in Kenya, became well known for her fearless stance on social justice, transparency, and government accountability. From her early days, she was drawn to activism, often advocating for the rights of youth, women, and marginalized communities. Her dedication to these causes helped her become a prominent voice in addressing issues like police brutality, corruption, and political injustices. Through her active presence on social media and participation in demonstrations, she became a symbol of hope for many young people who felt disillusioned by the current state of Kenyan politics and law enforcement. Aoko's sudden disappearance sent shockwaves through the activist community, raising concerns about the increasing trend of forced disappearances. The abductions, largely attributed to special units within the police force, often target vocal critics, activists, and young people who challenge authority or seek to expose injustices. These incidents suggest that some factions within the police may be acting on orders from political figures, using intimidation tactics to suppress dissent. The systematic targeting of activists like Maverick is emblematic of a broader pattern, with numerous cases of enforced disappearances in recent years. Human rights organizations have accused the police of overstepping their authority, pointing to illegal detentions and extrajudicial actions aimed Many believe that police involvement in these abductions indicates an institutional effort to suppress political opposition and limit freedom of expression among Kenya's youth and activist networks. To the government of Kenya, church leaders, and the media, we are gravely concerned about the disappearance of Maverick Ayoko, a respected journalist and activist who has been missing for 6 days. We urge the government to prioritize her safe return by launching an immediate, thorough investigation. To the church, we ask you to use your platform to advocate for her and call for justice. To the media, we ask that you amplify her story and help bring her case to the public's attention. Maverick's life and voice matter. Please, help bring her back, safely to friends and family.
Yes, that is what we're asking. Where is Maverick Kaoko? Kenyans are saying that he should be freed. Let them free Maverick Kaoko, wherever she is, because our whereabouts are not known where she is. And that is what we're asking Kenyans. Because there is someone who has been publishing content in the social media, but still, due to the abduction that happened in this country, several people have been abducted. Those who are publishing stories, those who are fighting political activists. We also have human rights activists. They have been arrested. So where is Maverick Kaoko? That is what we are asking in Africa 24. And you can also tell us more about if you have a whereabouts. And again, Gachagua lawyers, they are still fighting. They are still trying to see whether they are going to be served justice in the court. And of course, the Chief Justice, that is Martha Koome, she has been always there. And still, the fight is still on. Like, who is going to serve justice? Is it going to be the first time? Others are saying that tomorrow, maybe it is going to be the last day, or on Friday is going to be your last day for this case hearing. So, by any chance, if the court, the court is now going to be the final decision maker. If the court is going to see that they have found Gachagua with all those cases and they're going to approve, then we are going to have a new DP. And of course, others are saying, I listened to some of the people saying they support Kindiki. Earlier, you saw some of the leaders in Mount Kenya region and also members of county assemblies. They were saying that they support Kindiki because they think that Gachagua, after he was given the opportunity to represent the Mount Kenya region, he has not been doing what they are supposed to do. Like, the direct connection between the president and the mountain has not been there, because they believe that Gachagua has been incompetent when it comes to the government. And that's why they are choosing Kithure Kindiki to become the deputy president. The question that we're asking here, do you think that Kithure Kindiki is the qualified personnel to lead the Mount Kenya region and also to be the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya? William Ruto, and of course, he is the president of the Republic of Kenya. He has not even commented, he has not even spoken a word about the impeachment of the honest man Gachagua. And yet, these two guys, they were vying, they also fighting for their lives. They're fighting for their position during the 2022 general election. After what it was termed as a Gen Z, not Gen Z, that is the deep state, the government, they were having the support, but still these guys were together. No, he has not even commented. So do you think this is something that is going to raise concerns because the president has been quiet? Do you think that the president will be quiet forever until the honest man now is served that impeachment? Of course, the court is the final decision. Is the judiciary going to save Gachagua? Because these two guys have been together. Is court going to serve justice for these men? Remember to always follow what the judiciary says. Judiciary is the only independent arm of the government. We have judiciary, we have executive, and also we have the National Assembly, that is the parliament. In the parliament, that is where we make laws. Judiciary, they implement those laws. So we're waiting to see if they're going to save him. Earlier, the judges of, that is the lawyers of Rigathi Gachagua, they were saying maybe if he asked for forgiveness from his boss, then they are going to listen. And the question is, do you think that William Ruto is going to listen to Gachagua impeachment motion? And if at any point Gachagua asks for forgiveness, do you think that this forgiveness will serve Gachagua with that mercy, that he can be back as the DP? Because now in this country, we don't have a deputy president. We are lacking deputy president because he has been impeached. Now the president is serving the country alone. So that is what we're asking here in Africa 24. I want us to listen to some of the lawyers when they were speaking during that session. And of course, some of the leaders have spoken about this.
Kerugoya, and on behalf of the second petitioner, we wish to say that we support the application for conservatory order to remain in force. And the reason why we are saying so is that if you look at our petition, the prayers that we are seeking...
Sorry, my lord, with your permission, my lord, with your permission, I'm sorry, because Ms. Kimodo was submitting, and it was our understanding that for the ninth petitioner, because she's not representing the ninth petitioner, it was our understanding that the minutes that were allocated to us, initially, Mr. Shadrach Wamboya has taken, and we were to compress the same so that all parties appearing, because we are 4 of us, were to iron out those issues and submit, because it's only submitted on one point. So that before she submits, we're requesting kindly for accommodation so that we can air 1 or 2 issues that were left out by Shadrach. Because I was to do a minute, and Mr. Omari was to do another minute as we conclude for the ninth petitioner. We are sorry about that, so that when she takes up, she'll take it up from a standpoint of...
Does it also not bother you that most of the points or the principles you are putting forth have already been put forth even more eloquently and recorded?
My lord, that much we agree, but there are 1 or 2 issues that were left out. That is why we wanted to seek for your permission so that we can air all those that...
I think we still believe in the old doctrine that a council can stand up and say that I adopt wholly the submissions of a council who has gone before them, because I think these arguments have been put very eloquently, and we have recorded them.
Very well, if those be the directions, my lord...
But I'll give you 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
After Ms. Kimoto has finished.
We are most obliged. We'll share 1 minute each with Mr. Mari. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
People yet to come, including the respondents, I hope you take note of that. There's no need for repetition, absolutely none.
Yes, sir. The reason why we are in support of the conservatory orders remaining in force is that when Justice Richard Mwongo was issuing these orders before Kerugoya Law Courts, he had in mind petition E013 and petition E014. So he knew very well what he was doing, because we appeared before him several times and we tried to stop the impeachment proceedings. However, it was not possible, and he consolidated the files. Therefore, if you look at our petition E013, what we are asking for is an apology by the Deputy President of Kenya, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. So if these conservatory orders are lifted, what are we going to do? Are we not engaging in an academic exercise where our petition has been consolidated, but we are not being given a right to fair hearing, so that the court can understand why we need this apology? And this petition was filed first. It was filed on the 25th September, before the impeachment and after the impeachment. So we are praying that we be given a right to fair hearing. We be heard first. We have nothing against Professor Kindiki. However, once he assumes office, he will now become a deputy president, and therefore we do not need an apology from Kindiki. We need an apology from Rigathi Gachagua. And we need an apology from him when he's at his official residence. No. They will have, no, allow me to.
My Lord, may I just interfere? The petition by Kimotho and company required the deputy president, then, now impeached, to apologize to the National Intelligence Service, NIS, completely overtaken by events. I don't even know why she's here.
No. That is uncalled for, and I hope the bench will protect me.
I think Ms. Kimotho is rightly before the court.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Judge, for protecting me, because I almost quoted the paragraph 110 of the disposition of this court where you assured us that we are going to have a fair hearing. So therefore, thank you, Justice Charo. So what I'm saying is that, yes, so what I'm saying is that we need an apology from the Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, him being the Deputy President of Kenya. So what we are saying is that we want him, at least we are going to support even the issues of how he was impeached, so that we can get to the bottom of this. And we still have a chance, because he has not left office. And if he has not left office, then we have a chance to be heard in our petition, E013. So allow us to be heard, so that after we are heard, the court can decide if our petition has merit or not. And that's why we are in support of this. And we do not want a kienyeji apology. Our apology is very clear from our pleadings, because these utterances he made when he was in office, and they carried weight. Why we are insisting is that the NIS team, and especially my client who is affiliated to the NIS, he was affected. In fact, where he stays in Kirinyaga, he cannot stay anymore because of those utterances. No, these issues are in our petition. The respondents have not responded. In fact, our petition is unopposed. So therefore, we are insisting, if at the interim stage, the conservatory orders are lifted, what it means is that we will not have a chance to get what we are praying for in the final stage. So it will be in our view, we will have been overtaken by events at that particular moment. Therefore, when we remove this conservatory order, it only means that we'll have a final order in the interim, because now there will be a new deputy president, and we sued Honorable Rigathi Gachagua when he was the sitting deputy president, as a deputy president, not as Honorable Rigathi Gachagua. So we are praying that the court do look at this. There was also an issue of public participation. Once we were consolidated, those are the issues that are also in petition E014, on how the public participation was conducted, which we, of course, we support. It was hurriedly done. So we did not even have a chance, or many people and many Kenyans did not have a chance to give their views. So again, just 1 minute. Again, this is what we are saying. It will now go to an academic exercise where we just appear before the court and expect just to be told you have no right anymore, and you're overtaken by events, just like some councils were trying to say. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Lordship, for the third petitioner.
Sorry, my lord, I was to take you.
Did I hear kienyeji apology? What is kienyeji apology? Hey, the Gen Z are now in court. Gen Z wako kotini. Nimesikia, we don't want a kienyeji apology. Which kind of apology is kienyeji apology? If you give Sekona, you know what is Kenyaji apology, then you can tell us. Because personally, I don't understand what is Kenyaji apology. Like, how do you have Kenyaji apology? Because they think that those utterances that were made by Gachagua, he made it them when he was in the office. So, same way he made those comments, then they want him to do it official way. He did it. And of course, Gibbs Ekona, you are there. You are one of our brand ambassadors here in Africa 24. I know Mzalendo is following, and he shall be joining us in the course of the show. So that is a session of judges there and lawyers trying to solve the case whereby Gachagua has been impeached. And this thing has really brought a lot of political tension in this country. Because as you can see, the country doesn't have the president, deputy president at the moment. So they are fighting for the position. The Mount Kenya region are still fighting. There is no anyone who has come out clearly to say why these things are happening, because these two guys, they came together during the 2022 general elections, but now even the boss has not even spoken. So the tension is still there on why do we have these things happening to the DP, that is the Rigathi Gachagua. So a lot of tension is happening in this country. And it is during this time when we have the Gen Z. The Gen Z, after they came back, they went into the roads, and they went to the streets to fight for their rights during the finance bill rejections, and also rejecting some of the cabinet secretaries who were recruited by William Samoei Ruto, who is the Republic of Kenya, that is President of the Republic of Kenya. The Gen Z are still now, they have calmed down, they have relaxed, not really relaxing, but they are, maybe they are giving the president time to work for the people of Kenya and deliver. Because at the end of the day, if I would be the president of this country, then one thing I will focus on is I will make sure that the people of Kenya, they have basic needs. What do you mean by basic needs? That is food, shelter, and clothing. Shelter. If we have slums, we have people, a lot of people in this country who doesn't have place to sleep. And I know how it is hard to sleep outside. You don't have a place to stay. Like, shelter is a big problem in this country. A lot of things happen. So if the government at any point they will consider providing the citizens, may it be Kenya, may it be any other country. I've not been out of the country, but I know from the internet, the internet has really compressed this world into a small Malta. So you just need only to Google. So if you Google, then you know that things are happening differently in some countries. So if you have shelter, then we're good to go. Food. If the government will provide the Kenyans and also any citizens with food, the high cost of living is low, so they can afford their food, then the citizens will never complain. Food is very key. Agriculture. Some of the sensitive ministries we have: agriculture, energy, those ministries that deal with human interactions. They are key things a government at any point will always consider that. And if the government will consider it in the right way, then I'm very sure you won't see even the citizens complaining. Gibbs Ikona is saying there is no returning for Gachagua. Kindiki has to be careful. Ruto is no one's friend apart from himself. That is Gibbs Ikona is saying that Ruto, that is the president of Kenya, doesn't have friends. Doesn't have friends. That is what Gibbs Ikona is saying. And also, if you come close to Ruto, then you have to do what he aligns you. And that is all what you need to do as you come close. That is Kindiki. That is Gibbs Ikona. And also saying that Gibbs Ikona, I'm always around. I was watching Carabao. That is, yeah. I know Liverpool has won. They have come back and won against the Brighton. And that was wonderful. But during our opening remarks, we said there was fourth match of Carabao Cup as teams are qualifying for the quarter finals. And when it comes to sports, then in Africa 24, we will give you more about the sports here. We'll give you more about sports in Africa 24 when it comes to Dimba Show. Man City are out. Tottenham, Man United, Southampton, and Brentford, they are in for quarterfinals in this Carabao Cup. After Tottenham won, Southampton won, the Saints won. So those are the teams that have qualified for Carabao. That is when it comes to football. But on weekend we have a big match, Man United against the Blues. We shall be there no matter what. But on matters concerning politics, then the president is always keen on who is going to work with. And one thing that you have to understand is that the president will always choose someone who can provide service and also who will adhere to what he or she is taught. So that's why I think leaders are suggesting Kindiki, because Kindiki, he has never caused chaos. He has been silent, and whatever the president will tell him, then he will be adhering to. But you see, during the Gen Z, the DP, that is the impeached deputy president, was in Mombasa. He talked about the Gen Z and the Adani group, issues that Kenyans addressed through the social media. That is all what we can say about the Gen Z. A lot of lives were lost during the protest, but what we need to know is that this is Kenya, and the question is, abductions are still ongoing. Maverick Aoko is nowhere to be seen. Where is Maverick Aoko?
We are just Kenyans united to resist oppression. And we are saying enough is enough. Stop the killings, abductions, and torture of innocent Kenyans. We condemn in the strongest terms possible this morning's abduction of renowned human rights defender Boniface Mwangi from his Lukenya home, Machakos County, a man who has courageously dedicated his life to defending the rights and freedoms of all Kenyans. Accounts from his wife indicate he was abducted in the presence of his children early today by some men and a woman believed to be police officers, and we now know they were, and they were not in uniform. They did not identify themselves. They did not say why they were taking him away or where they were taking him to. We actually now know they took him to Kamukunji police station, but that does not excuse that behavior of going commando style like thugs, abducting people without identification and without giving reasons as demanded by the Constitution. These kidnappings, disappearances, and extrajudicial killings targeted on our youth mainly is now a signature modus operandi of the Ruto regime. These abductions and killings of youth is now a worrying trend, and we demand that it stops forthwith. It has now become the signature modus operandi since the Gen Z protests. It has resulted in lengthy illegal detentions, like in the case of Bob Jage, Aslam, and Jamil Langton. And in some cases, it does not end up with long detention. It ends up with extrajudicial killing. You remember the young university student, Denzel Omondi, who was kidnapped during the Gen Z protests and surfaced in a quarry dead. You will recall that only 2 days ago, the burial of John Jogona Kuria of Kapenguria, who was abducted, and within a week, his body surfaces. So this is the signature way in which Ruto is operating. We have credible sources who have indicated that there is a special abduction stroke killer squad, which is comprised of both police and army officers. And this squad, we are told reliably, is based somewhere in Karen, near the DP's residence, and another wing of it is based in Orepolos, in Kajiado. These people also are joined, and mainly this squad is drawn from Dr. Ruto's ethnic community. We are not saying it's all members of the community, but this squad is made up of people he has picked from his community. They are also joined, we are reliably told, by foreigners, fellow East Africans from Burundi, from DRC, and from Uganda, and God knows where else. A regime that finds it necessary to create a squad outside of official channels to abduct, murder, and terrorize citizens is a regime that has lost legitimacy and that should be forced out of power. This targeting of activists, journalists, and youth is a direct assault on our constitutions, on the right to life, principles of equality, justice, and freedom. Kenya must not be a place where families live in fear that their loved ones may be taken in the night or any time of the day, never to return. The right to life and liberty, as I've said, enshrined in our constitution, must be upheld not selectively, not conditionally, but absolutely. I want to ask my colleague to go on from there.
Yes, that is Mother Karua. That is the NAC leader. She is saying, she is condemning the issues that are happening in this country. Abductions, a lot of abductions are there in this country. And she is also terming this one as something that is really disgusting and it should stop. After Boniface Mwangi was abducted and later released on a free bond, still Maverick Aoko is nowhere to be seen. That is Mother Karua trying to condemn. And also in the comment section, I can see someone here is saying that when, that is a question that is being posed here. How did we regress so far backwards like this? That is George Kimani in the comment section. And also Gibbs Agone saying that the MPs need to act instead of having pressures all the time. How are they going to act? That is the members of parliament. How are they going to act? And yet, these are the people who reported for years and they beat the DP. The deputy president, the deputy president was impeached because even Mwengi Mutuse, when he was asked those questions by the lawyers, he could not answer those questions. How did they impeach the deputy president? Was there someone behind this impeachment motion that was tabled in the parliament? Still in the Senate, they impeached him. So the only hope for Gachagua and his friends and his family is the court. This is where now Kenyans want to know whether this judiciary is going to be independent, whether this judiciary is going to serve justice for the Kenyans and especially for the honest man Gachagua. Because during the Gen Z protests, the Kenyans were chanting, Ruto must go. They're saying that Ruto must go, but they never said that Gachagua must go. That is what they are saying at the moment after the impeachment motion of Gachagua. And, you know, we have this term limits that is being proposed in this country. Term limits. And also, earlier today, I saw some of the leaders saying that they don't agree with anything that is being termed to increase any elected member of parliament, any elected personnel in the government. Because Senator Cherargei is the one who tabled this motion. And these are some of the close members of William Ruto. These are the close friends of William Ruto. So the likes of Oscar Sudi, Senator Cherargei, Osoro, those are the close members of William Ruto. So whenever you have them speaking, then maybe there is some direct connection between them and their boss. But today in the Senate, they were mentioning about the FKF general elections, about Kapsea, and also about impeachment motion of Gachagua. That forgetting the abductions in this country. We also saw Bobo Hino posting into his social media platform asking the whereabouts of Maverick Ao. Today, the Secretary General of the ODM party roared, that is Edwin Sifuna, he roared without fear. He said, I don't understand what is happening in this country. Sifuna, and they saying that whoever proposes to increase term limit, then he or she should stop because they don't agree with that.
First of all, I want to make it very clear the position of the ODM party is that we do not support any proposals to amend our constitution to extend any elected leader's term in office, because we are believers in democracy. Democracy dictates that a country must have regular and scheduled elections. So any person who comes up with a proposal to extend that term is essentially going against everything that we believe in as a political party. I want to assure members of the public that this is one of those bills that was brought for nuisance value. I think Senator Cherargei has had his 15 minutes of fame, and now it is time for us to sober up. There is nobody in the Senate that I know that supports that particular bill. And the fact that we have extended so much public resources, even at the Senate, conducting public hearings for a bill that we know for a fact as a leadership in the House that it has no support, is what has led some of us in the Senate Business Committee to propose amendments to our standing orders, so that if somebody is going to bring a proposal to amend a constitution that requires 2/3 in the Senate and the National Assembly, they must attach signatures of those of that 2/3 of the members of the House. So you must have 45 people supporting your bill in the Senate, and you must have 233, is it, for the National Assembly for you to even bring that bill, because it is a waste of time. Everybody knows it has been brought for nuisance value. It has no support anywhere. It is just people chasing clout, and in the Senate it has no support at all. I would be very surprised if that bill even receives more than one vote, other than Senator Cherargei's own vote in the Senate. And it has caused unnecessary public anxiety. And it is also undermining the public confidence in our institutions, because the public expects that those of us who are elected will give priority to things that help to assuage the situation of Kenyans, because many Kenyans are suffering. So you need to characterize the person who has sponsored this bill. The other day we were admonishing him in the House, because instead of focusing on things that are important, he was complaining that the health club at the parliament had been closed. Some of us don't even know where that health club is, because that's not why we were elected. We were not elected to go to saunas and gyms. We were elected so that we can be able to address the views of the people. So I want to assure the public that this is a non-starter. He has achieved what he wanted. He wanted to be discussed. He wanted to be splashed around in the media. I have seen him get spreads in newspapers. I think Cherargei is happy. That is good enough for him. But he knows at the bottom of his heart that that bill has no support anywhere.
That is Edwin Sifuna is saying that Cherargei wanted that fame in the social media. He wanted to be recognized by Kenyans. And Edwin Sifuna is going to an extent to say that Cherargei, instead of focusing with very important things that Kenyans elected him to go and represent, then is going there to say that we increase the term limits, and yet we have a lot of things to do, developments to carry on in this country. A lot of projects that are pending, and still he's saying that we increase the term limit. as the Secretary General of ODM, that is Edwin Sifuna, is saying that they splashed him in the house during the hearing of that motion, and he was everywhere by proposing the term limits to increase. But at the end of the day, Sifuna is saying that no one is listening to what Cherargei is saying. No one supports the motion. But the day before yesterday, we heard him say that 60% of Kenyans, they're supporting this motion. 40% are saying no. And over 500 messages, they have been flooded into the email address of Senate. They're saying that they support it. That is what Cherargei had to say when he was supporting the motion. And of course, do you agree with extension of the term limits? Either the members of parliament, MCA, governor, senate, and also the president. Do you support the increase of term limits of our leaders? That is, Gibbs Ekona is saying that Mother Koome and the rest have been bought. They have been bought. That is what Gibbs Ekona is saying, including the religious leaders. The religious leaders, those people who trust in God, have they been bought to pass the law that to accept and find Gachagua with those cases? Is it true? That is what Gibbs Ekona is saying. They have been bought. Earlier today, still in the Senate, is
255
what
Sabbatical 2.
Short.
It enjoins not only the committees, because if you look at the motion, there were things that the committees were supposed to do and things that government was supposed to do, independent commissions were supposed to do, and even holders of independent offices. And by way of example, Honorable Speaker, the very first resolution there is that we needed an apology from the National Police Service for all the deaths from peaceful protests. So there is an expectation that the National Police Service also needed to respond to us. There is a question of compensation, and the wording of the motion is compensation from the national government for victims of police brutality. Then, of course, there was the question of amnesty for prosecutions, which was also an expectation of the National Police Service, and a withdrawal of the cases from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. In fact, our standing orders enjoin even those independent offices to be able to implement the resolutions of this House. I was in Kisumu over the weekend, and one of those young people was telling me that they are still facing cases in court. Honorable Speaker, it is also not lost on us that there continue to be complaints of abductions by unknown people suspected to be security officers across the country. Even as we speak, there is a famous case of a lady called Maverick Aoko. Yes, Maverick Aoko, who has been missing for a few days. So, Honorable Speaker, I would also want us as a Senate to ask those independent officers, the responsible or relevant cabinet secretary, in line with Standing Order 255-2, so that they also brief this House on how far we have gone in terms of implementations of the resolutions of this House. I have personally taken time to explain to especially my leader of majority, the leader of majority of this House, who's now my friend, Honorable Speaker, that for us in the opposition, Honorable Speaker, if these resolutions are actually implemented, we will have an easier time even having tea with the majority leader. And he knows this. He was, Honorable Speaker, I'm being told the majority leader was distracted. I have taken time, Honorable Speaker, because, you know, we are in a period of people trying to understand what makes some of us tick, the members of the opposition, members of government. I have explained to the majority leader that for us in the opposition, and especially for ODM, for which I'm the Secretary General, if these issues that we passed here on apologies and compensation for victims and an end to abductions of people in this country are actually implemented, he will have an easier time calling me for coffee to discuss other things, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I would plead with you, Honorable Speaker, just like you have directed our committees to respond, all these independent offices and government itself, must also tell us why it has taken this long, 60 days later, and we don't see any movement in terms of implementation of these resolutions. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on the matter of social media clips, Speaker, I just want to let us know, as a media practitioner, that in this day and age, any institution that does not embrace social media as part of their day-to-day transactions, then may not be doing very, very well. I believe that then the Senate must have, or Parliament must have, an alternative media policy that will guide how to interact with social media platforms. The Speaker, on the more substantive issue about your communication, I want to thank you for it. And I will say two things. One, Mr. Speaker, remember we sat and made those resolutions at a time that this country was actually at the brink of burning. It was terrible. And you remember we prided ourselves as a Senate, as the House of Leadership that sat through the crisis when the lower house took off and went to hide themselves. The Speaker, I would have expected, as a leader in this country, that these resolutions would be a lot more binding to not just the committees of the Senate, but to all the other institutions that were mentioned and to which then commitments were given. To begin with the police service, Mr. Speaker. In fact, my expectation was that because we got a new IG after the fact, I would have expected that the first call of duty for him would have been to apologize to Kenyans on behalf of the crisis that we went through. Now, that has not happened, Mr. Speaker, and because I still believe that these resolutions are still binding, as you have required, Mr. Speaker, of the committees to give us an updated report, which I believe Senator Cheruiyot was talking about standing order number 56, when chairmen are bringing their updates, they should do it between now and Thursday. The Speaker, I would urge you to consider requiring, I don't know through which means, but requiring the other institutions of government, the police service, the Ministry of Health, to just appear before a committee of the whole, so that, Mr. Speaker, they can brief this nation on how far they have gone with the implementation of these resolutions. Mr. Speaker, lastly, we woke up this morning to a very scary media report on how police officers are accessing private communication through mobile phones and using that communication, as Speaker, to track down people for abduction. Mr. Speaker, that is a very serious matter, and it forms the basis of one of the resolutions that we made at that time. Mr. Speaker, we must remind the Inspector General of Police that the right to privacy is a Chapter 4 right under the Constitution. Article 31 of the Constitution requires that the privacy of communication for every member of society must never be infringed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if that report is true, because we have not verified it, if that information is true, Mr. Speaker, it is more reason that this House must summon the Inspector General of Police to come and explain to Kenyans why they are tracking down Kenyans and abducting them using mobile phones. Lastly, this is also a call to order for a private institution, Mr. Speaker, one that we respect, one which we have built with our own money and commitment. Safaricom must be put to order. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that they are going to misuse their monopoly to aid the police to break the law. Mr. Speaker, this House must stand firm and say no to infringement of people's privacy. Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you, honourable senators. Let us make progress in this matter. Allow me to take the clarification sought by...
That is Senator Kiwambua. And personally, as I come from Eastern region, I am proud of Senator Kio. He is a media practitioner, by the way. He has worked with some of the ministry media houses. And you can hear how articulated he is when he is talking about the abductions in this country and how Safaricom monopoly is being utilized by some of the securities to track people for abductions. That is Senator Kiwambua. And the question that we are asking is there a leakage whereby people are being tracked using the communication channels like mobile phones? Yeah. Is this what is happening? I can see comment sections there. Kenya Revolutionary is saying that he's talking about football. And he's saying that leo kuna siasa ya upinzani. Yeah, Man City, they are out of the Carabao Cup. Kenya should act anti-abduction unit. That is, Kenya should start anti-abduction unit. Men and women who are harmed will arrest their. That is, the Kenya Rebellion is saying that men and women who are harmed will arrest the so-called in uniform police who are abducting and arresting people for no reason. That is, Kenya Revolutionary. You will lose on Saturday. He's talking about football, but here we're discussing about the abductions that we are experiencing in this country. Yeah. Do you think that the government is the one that is responsible for the current abductions? You have heard even Mother Karua condemning this situation, leaders condemning it. Do you think this is something that should be experienced in this country, a democratic country? And right to privacy, SK Wambua has said that it is something that is included in the constitution. But you know, our Kenyan constitution has not been supported by Kenyans. Most people, they don't support Kenyan constitution. That is why they bent the constitution. And when we add the constitution, it has given lines on what you are supposed to do. If you go against the constitution, then the constitution will haunt you. You are now focusing with the impeachment motion of Gachagua. How sure are you going to know that things are going to work for Gachagua this month? And of course, before the year ends, then we will know the situation in this country. Maybe Gachagua will be the deputy or not. Afrique 24, you following us in Facebook, please go there in our YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe, because that is the only way you can support this channel. Afrique 24, we are live in Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. So go there in our YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe. We have a lot of news. We also have a lot of live shows there for sports, for love matters. So join us there and you are in safe place. Where are those Kebaso supporters? I am looking for us for a quarrel. That is his Kenya Revolutionary, and I know he always get heated whenever he meets the likes of Mzalendo, the likes of Kevin, and also the guys from abroad. And of course, you know, in Kenya, it is almost 3 a.m. So in Kenya, we are almost in the morning. 3 a.m., almost 3 a.m. I know those who are in the United States is almost in the evening at your end, but that one is not worrying us here. We're discussing some of the top stories here in Afrique 24 and the political tension. That is, Ruto, will he survive alone? Will he survive alone? That's okay. I don't know. And Kenya Revolution, you in Kenya, hi, please say hi in Nairobi. Say hi in Nairobi. And I have sent you a message, Kenya Revolutionary. You did not reply to my message. I'm going to slap you. Not because we lost to Newcastle. That was obvious because we were in the St. James Park. Anyway, that is more about football. So if you're following us for the first time in Africa 24, go there, like, comment, and subscribe. And also, there has always there have been a fight about the impeachment motion, whereby some of the people are saying that Moses Wetangula, who is the Speaker of the National Assembly, is incompetent and he should go home. Lonyangapuo and some of the leaders in Rift Valley, they gave their support for Moses Wetangula. During the case that was presented in the parliament for Gachagua, I heard some of the people in the street saying that the speaker was biased. That is what people are saying during that case.
Speaker amekosa nini? Kwanza Weta ukikompea na wale wengine, Weta kukompea na wale speakers. Nimekaa hapo, nimesema hii ni mara yangu ya 5. Na term ya 5 kuingia parliament. Tumekuwa na kile Kaparo, tumekuwa na wale wengine mpaka hapo. Huyu amejaribu. Hata wakati anaingia, hata huwa anakaa na watu. Waje Weta amalize term yake. Kwanza anatoka vizuri. Hata mimi niko yeye chairman yangu, niko komitia ile inaitwa nini? Powers and privileges. Hakuna mtu ambaye hata mjumbe akikosa huwa analetwa na anaongeleshwa kwa njia ile ya utaratibu. Sijaona akitukana. Sijaona kusema kwamba waje tu deal na huyu tufukuse karibu wiki 2 ama mwezi 1-2 nje. Anakuita watu, tunaongea hapo, namaliza, tunaenda kunywa chai hapo ofisi yake, tunacheka. Kwa hivyo mimi nasema hata yule anataka kujaribu, ajaribu. Sisi na tuko. Kama nafikiri yeye ndio mtu anaweza kusukuma mwingine nje, yeye ndio tutamsukuma toke na Weta ataendelea na kazi yake.
Ati mnataka kutimua? Poleni wa jamaa, imekuwa sasa kumbe hii Kenya sasa ni ya kutimua, na hata kabla ya Gachagua ishe hiyo nyingine ya speaker Wetangula kisha tawa nani? Hata wabunge wanaanza kutimuliwa ama. I think there is an evil spirit roaming around. Na kama kuna issues wafuate vizuri. Mob lynching, shouting haisaidii. But otherwise, to me, I think the stability of the assembly has been guaranteed, kwa sababu mimi najua the able hands of Wetangula na wengine. Kama ana issues angekuwa ametuambia, nyinyi mna create issues.
Sioni kama ni hiyo jambo ni kweli na isiwe kweli, kwa maana hatutaki nchi ambaye tunakorogana hivyo. Tunajua mheshimiwa Moses Wetangula ni mtu shupavu na amefanya kazi nzuri, na anafanya kazi nzuri na rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Anafanya kazi nzuri na watu wote ambao katika bunge hilo, na alifanya kazi nzuri katika Senate, na kwa hivyo hatungependa mambo kama haya ianze kuwa ati kuna watu kikundi ya watu ambao wanakaa chini kupanga ya kwamba watu watumuliwe.
That is a section of leaders in Rift Valley saying that they don't support the fact that some are saying Moses Wetangula is biased in the parliament, that is the National Assembly. They don't support that. They think that he is the right man for this parliament. That is some of the leaders. And of course, in Africa 24 top stories here, my name is Boniface Kimanzi, and I know we have a lot of it when it comes to football. Guys, I've been sharing links here when we have sports show. Make sure you join the sports show. We are always having sports every Monday and on weekends. So if you are free on Mondays, on weekends, please join our show. And that is only way you are going to discuss more about sports. We always have a banter in sports. And if you want to discuss about sports, then you can join us. Africa 24. Top stories here. You're following Kenya Revolution. Thank you so much. I can also see Gibbs Icona. Thank you so much. And those who are following in all social media platforms, always like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that is only way we are going to grow together. Go there, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the live. Join through the link that we are sharing here.
Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Tunasonga mbele watu wote wa Jamhuri Kenya yetu. Haya sisi sote wananchi tushangilie. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri Kenya yetu yaenda mbele. Eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri, eko Jamhuri. Mwaka wa 60 umefika, tangu Kenya iwe